Hello and welcome back to yet another episode of Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Cole Young, and from basketball to MMA fighting, we got a lot to cover this week, so let's get into it. With us again, we have Adam Christensen. Adam, how you doing? More importantly, how are your brackets doing?
That is the big question this time of year. It's doing all right. Obviously, I wish it was a little better, but can't complain too much.
That's good, that's good. We'll touch on that a little bit later.
Yeah, we'll get to it.
All right, let's jump right in, spin the wheels, and see what we got for our first topic.
Yeah, there's always that hope in the beginning.
Oh yeah, it's false hope almost, yeah. Ooh, Johnny Manziel for 2 minutes. Johnny Manziel, obviously, most people I feel like know who he is. Arguably one of the best college quarterbacks of all time, wins the Heisman as a freshman, and so on and so forth.
Beats Alabama.
Yeah. Pewter's out in the NFL, has a lot of off-the-field issues, whether it's, domestic violence, drug charges, everything under the sun.
Yeah.
But after leaving the CFL, he seems like he found a home in the AAF with the Memphis Express. Got to play in his first game. He only played, I think it was 3 series, but he looked all right. He went 3 for 5, which in 3 series, that's not bad. Yeah. And he had a couple 20-yard runs, and he kind of looked like old vintage Johnny football.
He did, yeah.
He definitely does look a little bit slower than when he did in college naturally. Yeah, but he still looked good, and I think I'm a full believer in the comeback season.
Yeah, I hope so, man. He's one of those quarterbacks that's like electric to watch. You always want to watch a game that Johnny Manziel's quarterbacking because you really never know what's going to happen play to play. He's crazy. Watching him this past week did bring back some of those college memories.
Those memories.
Like, this watching Texas A&M.
There you go.
Almost called him Texas Tech. Watching Texas Tech just dominate some SEC teams with him was fun. Oh, again, I get all those Texas schools mixed up though. They're all like red and white. Like,
it gets confusing.
But yeah, it was fun watching him ball out again.
It was, and like I said, he had his issues, but you like to see someone, kind of turn their things around. And there was a couple podcasts he was on. It seems like he's clean and sober and kind of figured his life out. So I am rooting for him.
I always love to see that.
I was rooting for him quietly still when he was going through his issues. But yeah, love to see a good comeback story. And I'm really rooting for him. So I hope he, gets back into his regular shape and just keeps, spinning out of defensive tackles and things like that. So
God, making offensive linemen run back and forth.
Yep, exactly. That's the best.
It's always fun. Yeah, I mean, hey, who knows? NFL is clearly watching, so you can get a practice squad, work your way up. I mean, he's got the talent. You can see. You can just watch him play, and you know that he has the talent.
Athlete,
he's a great natural athlete. It's nice to see, like you said, that he's got all of that life stuff figured out.
Yeah,
and
that's important. I like to point out too, he had 2 incompletions, and the one. The receiver ran a corner route, and he was wide open. And I don't know what happened. It looked like he just spazzed out. He just kind of fumbled and dropped it. And you could tell Johnny was a little upset. I would be too. But so he looks good is the moral of the story. Oh, yeah, exactly. All right, let's move on to our next topic, see what we got.
Yeah, I can't imagine going from NFL wide receivers to some AAF ones.
Ooh, March Madness. Big topic for 4 minutes. So I want to start out by saying, how did Duke win that game against UCF?
They shouldn't have won that game.
You missed 2 buzzer beater, easy layups. That would win the game against the #1 team, arguably the best team in the past couple years in college basketball. So it was heartbreaking to see.
I went to sleep that night thinking about, like, what if that alley-oop went down? What if they just threw it down in Duke's face, put an exclamation point on that win? Oh, that would have been beautiful. But here we are. We still got the chalk heading into the Sweet 16. 1, 2, 3 seeds all still left. So is it exciting? It's going to create some great matchups down the road. But, man, so close to that UCF upset. That would have
You always love upsets. Even though I'm sure myself and I'm sure a lot of people have Duke winning most of their brackets.
Yeah.
You still, like, a part of you wants to see it. I don't know why, but you do.
It's just March. That's what March brings.
That's exactly. That's March.
There's
a magic in the air.
There is. This is March. There's magic in the air.
There's been some exciting finishes, though, and that Purdue-Tennessee game, that went to overtime, that was a great game.
Yes, probably the second best game of the tournament.
I'd agree,
behind the Duke-UCF game. Crazy buzzer-beating tie, or nearly buzzer-beating tying shots. You got a guy who. Well, this is March. You got a guy who's never been heard of up until this season, unless you're a diehard Purdue fan.
Yeah, who is?
And he goes off for 20-plus points. He puts the team on his back, gets it to overtime, and gets the win.
He hit his last, 3 or 4 three-pointers to tie the game. He couldn't miss. He was shooting from 4 to 5 feet beyond the arc, and just raining. It was incredible.
It was great to watch. I love watching a college kid in the zone in the last 5 minutes of March Madness.
Yeah, exactly. And like you said, someone you've never heard of, so it's cool. See them make a name for themselves. Like, I was was that kid
Yeah.
that won the game against
He's got
Tennessee.
those next couple of weeks to capitalize on this fame. And
Exactly.
Then you gotta go be a
This is your
carver
window.
or
This is
something,
it. Yep.
yeah.
Ride your peak. Make it last.
Go work for Enterprise after this or something. But there's some great matchups heading in to tonight. We got Houston, Kentucky. Should be a great one. Two defensive teams. If you like some old school basketball, this is definitely the one to watch. Probably going to be under 70 points per team, and it's going to be a quick back and forth. A lot of playing, blocking above the rim, things like that. Some good down low post play. So I'm excited. And then you got LSU, Michigan. So battle of the 2 point guards, almost opposite of what the Houston, Kentucky matchup is. So
even though Michigan scored how little points was that?
I mean, after that great Purdue Tennessee game, then you go back to back.
Yeah, and each team had about 20 points at halftime.
Yeah.
It was hard to watch. That was not a fun game
Oregon,
to watch.
Virginia, and Texas Tech, Michigan.
Yeah,
those rough games to watch. I couldn't watch it to the end. I was like, this isn't worth.
I watched the first quarter and I was like, nope, I'll check later. I'm not watching these.
These games aren't very close. This is not, and I don't want to watch. Fouls and jump balls and travels, and it was a brutal game. But there should be some good games tonight. I think Michigan State and LSU will be a really good game. That'll probably be the one I'm circling to watch.
And I'm still watching, and I'm still rooting for Gonzaga. Maybe second to Duke, if not just as up there with Duke. I think they have a shot to win it all.
Yeah,
they look unstoppable.
Yeah.
They have blown out almost all their opponents. They look like a dangerous team.
It's like the blueprint of how to build a D1 program now is Gonzaga.
Don't have a football team.
Yeah, don't have a football team.
Have everyone come for basketball.
It's all basketball in Spokane, and I love it. Those home games are fun. They built a fun atmosphere there. They got recruits to come in, and now they're really reaping the benefits from that, and they look like a serious threat. They're definitely one of the top 3 teams in this tournament. I would think, and they've looked dominant on this run. Anytime FSU tried to climb back in that game, they just put them away. They just made some shots, got it in low, got them in some foul trouble, and they just put it away. It was a good sight to see. I'm excited for the Zags.
Yeah, I am too. Like I said, I have them winning one of my brackets, so don't play favorites, but I definitely think they have a great chance at winning. So I'm excited to see how they do.
I really hope they do, yeah. I think this is the year. I do think this is the year.
I think so, yeah. I don't want to jinx it, knock on wood, but
I hope Duke's going to lose tonight. Virginia Tech, Buzz Williams. He's going to have him buzzing.
Bold claim. I'd like to point out that my bracket that has Gonzaga winning is also in first place right now. So, gonna keep rooting for that one. All right, let's move on to our next topic.
Hold out hope as long as you can.
Exactly. Yep. Just hold on. Any shred of hope, and I'm gonna win. I think I win like $30, but still. All right. Ooh, Tom Izzo for 3 minutes. So Tom Izzo, the Michigan State head coach, has been kind of under fire. There was some clips of him getting in players' faces, players even, kind of separating them. So what's your first reaction to that? Because, people always jump on he's a terrible coach, he's abusive, all this stuff. So how do you interpret that?
When I was first watching it, I kind of rolled my eyes like, oh no, we're going to go again. You can't, this is Division I sports. This is about as intense as athletics gets. And you can tell that, when you have so many former players coming out and saying, no, this is how Izzo does things, everybody knows, everybody has a mutual respect for each other. Players can talk back to Izzo as Izzo can talk to the players. Heck, the coach even called his number the very next possession and he got a bucket. This is just, hey, we're in this is the crunch time. This is the tournament.
The biggest stage in college basketball.
This is win and go
ever.
home, and we are almost losing to a 15 seed.
Yep.
We need to figure this out, and you need moments like that to turn your team around, and I think a good coach is the one that knows how to push those buttons. You even saw his teammates coming back to him and saying hey, we got this, back off, we got, and he's like, you know what, yes you do, let's go. This guy's gonna get the ball next, and he's gonna score, and he did. And I just don't get how people that haven't even played an intense sport like this and come in and say that this is wrong when this isn't like Bobby Knight throwing chairs.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah, it'd be different if he was being physically abusive and like you said, there's clips of him throwing chairs at people. It's not that. And maybe you can say he can tone it down a little bit, but also like what you're saying, it's the biggest stage in almost all of sports. I'd say second to the Super Bowl. March Madness is right up there.
You got the most eyes on you.
It's intense. You want to win. Some of these kids after this tournament might not play basketball ever again. So you want to win. So you do definitely need that level of intensity.
We were just talking about how these are the weeks where you hear about kids' names that could become 3-week superstars and take their team to a national championship. And what kid doesn't want to live with that with the rest of his life, having that national championship ring? And Izzo knows that. And Izzo knows, and the players know what it takes to get there. And he's going gonna push their buttons to make sure they do it. And I think people that are complaining just haven't really been in that situation before.
Yeah.
I mean, did I like it when coaches yell at me? No, but I also sucked.
But
so
it makes you tougher too.
Like I knew that like I had to do better, and that kind of it makes you face that. It makes you face the fact that you need to be accountable and you need to be better, and turn things around to help your team, to help out your teammates, your family. I mean, it's cliche, but it's true.
It's true, yeah. And like you said, you know, people come out of the woodwork, the stars you've never heard of. Think about Jimmer Fredette.
Yeah, I mean, he's going playing, and actually, I think he got a G League contract or something.
Well, he did play like one NBA game, didn't he, recently?
Yeah, he did. Yeah, but yeah, you get those guys that like, I mean, we're still talking about to this day.
Exactly.
Like, so I think Izzo had every right. It wasn't like I said, it wasn't like he was physically assaulting players and things like that.
It'd be a lot different if he was. Then I think there'd be, you know, everyone's come together like, okay, this isn't acceptable. But yeah, being intense and yelling, it's part of the sport. It's part of any sport. You watch. I mean, I was gonna say Belichick, but that's a terrible example. He doesn't yell at anyone. He doesn't have any emotion, so never mind. But yeah, there's coaches in every sport that do that. So yeah. All right. So we will move on to our next topic and see what we got next. What do we got here? Oh, my heart just crumbled a little bit. BSU women's basketball.
Oh,
heartbreaker loss to Oregon State. What was it? 1 point?
Yeah, I mean, it was. You get down to the final 15 seconds, you're up by 4 points, and then just some tough calls, missed free throw, and a run by Oregon State, and then you're looking at your season being over. That's got to be tough. You know, you're going from an upset, a 10-4 upset to a loss that quickly, but doesn't take anything away from their great season.
No, they had an incredible season. Mountain West champions, just personally one of the best teams I've seen in Boise State history.
Yeah, on campus, I mean, they were dominant. You would go to their games and you would see them just run teams out of the building, score at will. They scored over 100 points, I think it was a couple times in the preseason. They could score at will, and they're only losing 2 players. They're losing Marta and, let's see. Joyce, Harrell. And so that bodes well for the future. They got some really good freshmen. Rachel Bowers down low is a force. She will be one of the best low post players in the Mountain West when she starts aging out. So I'm excited to see what they have in the future.
They'll bounce back from this, that's for sure. We got a great program, so I think they'll be all right. Still heartbreaking to see though.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
All right, let's move on. See what we got coming up next.
I think that's like 3 tournament appearances in a row for them. They'll get their win.
Oh yeah, they'll be fine. Not worried about it.
Yeah.
Ooh, Conor McGregor for 2 minutes.
A lot of retirement happening.
A lot of retirement, first Gronk, now McGregor.
Almost on the same day or close to it, I think, right? Yeah.
So I'm a big McGregor fan, and he announced on Twitter that he's retiring. And the thing that kind of raised suspicion is he did do this once before, after he lost to Nate Diaz, and there was a whole ordeal with Dana White because he missed a press conference and so on and so forth. But personally, I think this is real. I think, unfortunately, this is the last, we're not going to see McGregor fight anymore. And I mean, if you think about it, he made about $100 million for boxing Floyd Mayweather. That's the kind of money that makes you go, yeah, okay, maybe I don't want to get punched in the face the rest of my life.
I don't need to get choked out again.
Yeah, I'm going to sit and drink a whiskey that I created and I'm making a lot of money off of. So, yeah, I think it's real, unfortunately.
Yeah, I don't blame him either. I mean, that's a sport. You got to retire eventually. And I mean, we saw guys like Chuck Liddell like in the past year fighting, and it looked like they're just kind of holding on a little too long. And I don't want to watch that. And so I'm kind of happy for McGregor. He doesn't have to answer to anything. I mean, he's had one of the best MMA careers ever. He basically rewrote the book on MMA trash talking. He helped Dana White promote events and get UFC to a place where they have ESPN deals now. And things like that. So
he was electric to watch.
He was. He definitely one of those guys that came in at a time where MMA was changing and really changed the way the sport was headed.
And the master of psychological warfare.
Oh my God.
He would trash talk you and throw you off your game, and it was incredible to watch.
I mean, he had one knockout within like 45 seconds, basically won that fight before he even got in the ring. Like, I mean, that's what he would do. He'd just cripple you mentally to make you focus on things you don't want to focus on, and then he's in the gym working out and getting ready.
It's sad to see, though, too, he's retiring amidst some legal issues. There was some grumblings about there was a sexual assault case back, I think it was in January, but he was arrested, brought in for questioning, and he was let go, and there was nothing after that. So, but then a rather odd case. He spends a night in jail because a fan was trying to take a picture of him, smacks the phone out of his hand, which. Yeah, like you said, I don't really blame him, but you have to keep in mind you're an MMA fighter. You can't be doing things like that.
You can't be doing that, but I mean, I would hate to have.
And then he steals the kid's phone, so that's that's probably not in his best interest.
But I was with you until you stole the phone. If you got guys just coming and shoving cameras,
I would do the same. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I feel like I'm going to take him up on his tweet. He said pina coladas on him, so
Oh, hey.
I'm definitely going to take part in that. All right, and I believe that was the last topic we have for this week. So thanks again for tuning in to Down to the Wire. I'm your host, Cole Young. Adam, yet again, thanks for being with us.
Yep, love it.
Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.